The Dark Brotherhood were Tamriel's most feared killers. Pledged to bring souls to the dread Father Sithis through the rite of blood, the Brotherhood stalked the dark alleyways of the Empire's cities for centuries. They bring vengeance for wronged children, act as the tools of corrupt politicians, and have even been known to save a life, should one be offered to Sithis in return. The Dark Brotherhood has held many roles since coming to prominence in the Second Era. Yet despite their many years of operating with near impunity, the Brotherhood has become but a sad shadow of its former self. While it is known that the Dark Brotherhood originated from the Morag Tong, a similar group, how the split occurred is still open to debate. The most popular theory holds that the sect that would become the Brotherhood left after the Morag Tong aligned themselves with the Tribunal of Morrowind, eschewing the worship of Mephala, their original patron, in favor of Vivek. Rumors claim that Sithis himself spoke with one of these rogue members, demanding that a new guild of assassins be formed to mutually benefit both parties. The Brotherhood provided Sithis with souls, while Sithis provided the Brotherhood, indirectly of course, with gold through the assassination contracts they would carry out. One other story, allegedly derived from an interview between author Enric Milnes and the Night Mother herself, claims the Brotherhood is an offshoot of a thieves' guild. This account maintains that, in the Second Era, some members of the guild found it to be advantageous to strangle the occupants of the dwelling they burglarized. When the woman leading these cutthroats, the one who would eventually become the Night Mother, appealed to guild leadership to allow murder to continue, she was denied. She and the other, more bloodthirsty thieves left to form the Dark Brotherhood. This claim cannot be verified, however, as Enric was found murdered shortly after this story was published. Amidst the conjecture, a possible formation date has been devised from the alleged accounts of various sources. Two crucial pieces of evidence point to the antiquity of the organization. One is a note addressed to a brother found under the floorboards of an abandoned house in the Nordic village of Jotunheim. Its contents describe a war between two secretive organizations, apparently the conflict between the Morag Tong and the Brotherhood. This discovery was made in the Second Era 358, and would be the oldest written account of the existence of the Dark Brotherhood. About 50 years later, the Blood Queen Arlamahara of Hegathe mentioned in a letter that her family had been enlisting the services of the Dark Brotherhood since before her grandfather's time. With these two historical accountings, that would place the formation of the Brotherhood somewhere in the Second Era, 358 to 360 at the latest. As the decades went on, the Brotherhood grew in size, strength, and influence. By the Third Era, the Brotherhood had killed many notable and high-profile targets, including Pelagius I, the heir of Tiber Septim himself, while the prince was publicly praying at the Temple of the One. In 3rd Era 421, the Dark Brotherhood experienced a decimating internal conflict. A dark brother by the name of Greywan Blenwith believed he had been ordered by Sithis to eliminate all non-vampires from the Brotherhood, and founded an alternate organization he called the Crimson Scars. The Crimson Scars' stated goal was to eliminate the Black Hand, the ruling body of the Dark Brotherhood, and take control before killing or turning the remaining members into vampires. His dream was short-lived, however, as one of his confidants had betrayed him to the Black Hand. The Black Hand was made up of the most accomplished killers in the Brotherhood, and they swiftly retaliated and declared a purification by which every single sanctuary and member within them would be killed to bring the purity of Sithis and a semblance of order back to the Dark family. Greywan and some of his compatriots escaped the retribution, however, and the whereabouts would forever remain unknown. By 3rd Era 427, the Dark Brotherhood had established a foothold in the imperial province of Morrowind, and worked to implant themselves within the island of Ardenfell. Allying themselves with a Daedric cult that worshipped Mehrunes Dagon, the Brotherhood began pushing their influence across the island, yet remained mostly unknown to the general populace. Their shadow war with the Morag Tong on Vardenfell had decimated their numbers over the years, and the failed assassination of the Nerevarine resulted in the further dwindling of their membership, after which they managed to locate their sanctuary in Mournhold and carry out their own assassination on the assassins. Several years later, in 30 or 433, the Dark Brotherhood in Cyrodiil was crippled from within by Matthew Bellamont, a speaker of the Black Hand, seeking revenge against the Night Mother for the assassination of his own mother when he was a boy. Bellamont decimated the organization by instigating another purification ritual, as well as through the manipulation of an upstart silencer, by swapping their contracts so that they would kill members of the Black Hand and other silencers instead of their intended targets. When the Black Hand went to the Night Mother's crypt for guidance, Bellamont revealed himself, nearly killing the Night Mother and the Brotherhood itself before being stopped by the last two members of the Black Hand. The Brotherhood eventually began to recover, but nothing could prepare the servants of Sithis for the doom to come. Over the next 200 years, the Dark Brotherhood suffered setback after setback, and loss after loss. The Great War between the Almiri Dominion and the Cyrodiilic Empire went on to fracture the assassins even more. Bruma, Cheydinhal, and Breville all experienced riots and unbelievable violence during wartime, compromising their sacred sanctuaries not just in Cyrodiil, but across Tamriel. They also found themselves as targets of both empires, and in many provinces had been eradicated by the powers that be entirely. Naturally, this made the ability to garner work and gold extremely difficult for the Brotherhood. As their influence continued to be snuffed out during wartime, the Brotherhood found themselves cornered after a fleet of mercenaries attacked the High Rock Sanctuary, after an infiltrator had brought more enemies to their doorstep. Soon, the Dark Brotherhood found themselves with only the Night Mother's crypt in Breville and the ancient Cheydinhal Sanctuary as their last safe havens. As the war raged on, so did the civil unrest in Cyrodiil, with the Empire putting all its attention and manpower towards fighting the Elven war machine. Criminal influence in places like Breville was left to fester and grow into larger-scale problems. In Breville, a massive gang war erupted, which resulted in the deaths of several members. The Listener, who was the voice of the Night Mother, and the destruction of her tomb. Soon, only 4 members of the Brotherhood remained. And then 3, after the leader of the Cheydinhal Sanctuary failed to speak the binding words after proclaiming themselves to be the new Listener. Another member was killed in the streets by a common bandit. The last 2 simply parted ways, with one, the keeper of the Night Mother, Cicero, taking the Night Mother's body to Skyrim in hopes of reuniting with what remained of the Brotherhood in the north, and playing a crucial role in Brotherhood history in the days to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and maybe even subscribe. If you have any recommendations for what you'd like to see in the next video, drop it in the comments below. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one.